And we're shifting focus for now. Japan is accelerating its military plans near Taiwan, and China is furious, to say the least. During a high-profile visit to a base on the island of Yonaguni, just 110 kilometers from Taiwan, Japan's defense minister announced that Japan will press ahead with plans to deploy medium-range surface-to-air missiles to the island, extending Japan's air defense reach 48 kilometers. Koizumi says the deployment is not about escalating ties or escalating tensions, beg your pardon, but preventing an attack. Listen to this.
The medium-range surface-to-air guided missile unit planned for deployment at Camp Yonaguni is a force dedicated to protect the island's security. We believe its deployment will reduce the very possibility of armed attacks against our nation and do not consider the argument that it will heighten regional tensions to be accurate. We are steadily advancing preparations for deployment and intend to provide clear information to the local community once a specific deployment timeline becomes foreseeable.
Now, this plan to station the medium-range surface-to-air missiles on Yonaguni comes as part of a broader military build-up on its southern island chain. And the move's also reflecting Tokyo's concerns about China's growing military power and the potential for a clash over Taiwan. In fact, Koizumi, who took over as defense minister last month itself, said that the ministry was still working on the plan and would share details with the local government and the people of Yonaguni when the details are finalized. Before arriving there, the minister visited bases on the islands of Ishigaki and Miyako. The Ishigaki base is equipped with anti-ship missiles, while Miyako is a hub for air surveillance and other military facilities, including ammunition storage. Japan and the United States also have major bases on the larger island of Okinawa, further to the east. Yonaguni, which is a popular tourist retreat, including for scuba divers, has itself become a frontline outpost. It houses a surveillance radar, and since 2024, an electronic warfare unit capable of jamming enemy communications and guidance systems. In fact, just weeks ago, the U.S. military tested logistics routes to move supplies from Okinawa to Yonaguni in a dry run for setting up a forward operating base in a crisis. In a meeting with the mayor of Yonaguni, Koizumi said Japan has to build up its deterrence by increasing its own capabilities and deepening ties with the U.S. military. And Tokyo says the move is meant to prevent war, but China calls it a provocation.
Japan's deployment of offensive weapons on the southwestern islands adjacent to Taiwan is a deliberate attempt to create regional tension and provoke military confrontation. Coupled with Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's erroneous remarks on Taiwan, this trend is extremely dangerous and warrants high vigilance from neighboring countries and the international community.
In 2022, when China responded to a visit to Taiwan by the then U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi by launching major military drills around the island, ballistic missiles landed just south of Yonaguni, showing just how close the island really is to any conflict for control of Taiwan. And in recent weeks, Tokyo's fear of being dragged into such a conflict have intensified after remarks by the Prime Minister, who suggested Japan could join other militaries if China attacked Taiwan. China retaliated economically and demanded a retraction. Japan has dismissed Beijing's claim that its position has shifted as entirely baseless. But for financial markets, the war of words has consequences. The standoff is feeding volatility in Japanese equities as well as the yen. The Japanese markets are already under pressure, with missile plans now moving forward and China also warning of confrontation. Yonaguni has become the latest flashpoint in the region. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.